June was jam-packed of a lot, and I'm just going to take a quick second. Our owner, Paul Lynchfield, I know you have not heard much through him, and I'll just let the highlights play. A Dale Amador popped up, bases loaded here against the Padres. I haven't heard much from him either. I was hired as a sports broadcaster on Rhode Island with no general managing skills at all. Why I was hired, I don't know. It's become clear with the restrictions on the budget, on obviously firing and limiting my staff. It's become clear that it was a hire because he bought a sports franchise, and no matter how you run a sports franchise, you're a problem. He does not give a fuck how much we lose. Does not care who I trot out there. My job is safe because I can't get a job anywhere else, even with experience. And it's upsetting. And if you guys, as fans of the Rockies, frankly deserve a little better. I'm going to do everything I can to put a winner on this team. I know we haven't seen it yet through my first couple of years here, but I'm not a joke hire. I am not a guy to get pushed over. I'm not a guy that's just happy to be here. This is now my job. I did not believe it was going to be my job. I frankly did not want this to be my job. It was an opportunity I could not refuse. And here I was, not refusing it. And I promise that I'm going to do everything that I can to bring this team the rightful winner, even if the owner does not really care. And I don't mind saying that. This is just a one-on-one here. Paul Lynchfield is a lot of things. I barely hear from the guy. Just basically all financial stuff. He really does not truly care about the game. And that sucks. It really does. And I care about the game, however. Back to what's happening on the field. Ethan Hankins got hit pretty nastily with a line drive. He's going to miss the remainder of the year, which kind of sucks. He's a guy that we have a lot of hope in. And he's a guy that we think he can be a solid contributor if he can get it together. Was not having a fantastic year in AAA, so we'll see what that looks like come when he comes back. We defeated the Padres in the first game of this series, and now we are here against them yet again late in this one. 4-3 game. Closer, Daniel de Los Santos, the guy they got from Cleveland. Teoscar Hernandez is going to drop this one in front of Fernando Tatis Jr., but with Tatis's arm, they're going to hold up the runner at third base. Runners on the corner with just one out. Again, thank you for listening to my rant. I've just been very frustrated with the way things have been going. Teoscar Hernandez trying to steal, try to see if they can win the game off a base hit. He is going to get thrown out, trying to swipe second base. An aggressive play, and right here, here's the replay of it. If he just extends his arm, he is safe. Just one finger more. Xander Bogaerts applying the tag, but he is out, unfortunately. It is true. It is true. Look how close he is. Again, you just extend the elbow, man. You're in there. You got two runners in scoring position. A Paul Goldschmidt double, which he's been doing all year, wins you the game. Come on, man. And Goldie's going to strike out and throws the bat in frustration. And the Padres take the second game in this series. And that is what we got here against the Padres. We take one, we lose one, and the rest of the series went how it went. Brendan Rodgers, old friend alert, here trying to break this one open against us. Matt Moore is out there. It is bases loaded, 2 outs, and Rodgers going to swing at that circle change that was never a strike, and we will get out of that one. Still with a 2-run lead intact. Matt Moore has been nothing but filthy for us all season, and that's going to help raise his trade stock 100%. Trey Jamison has been great since coming and becoming our closer. He's going to get Westberg to chase on that high cheese, and the batter is out, and we move on and win a close one against the Rockies. Ezequiel Tovar came into this one 2 for 3 with a couple of home runs, and he won't quite get a home run this at bat, but he did something pretty cool against the Cubs, who are beating the brakes off of us 9-3. Bases loaded, bottom of the 8th inning. Tovar watches that one. He's been doing a lot better by not chasing those sliders outside the zone, something that plagued him in the first couple of seasons. And a guy who is having a fantastic season for us so far, and that's going to continue. This one won't be a home run, but it is ripped and going to be off the bullpen wall. Everyone kind of had to hold up, but 2 runs will come across to score. Could have been 3 if the runners were off with the pitch. And a 2-run double, the 16th of the year for Ezequiel Tovar. He just puts this one middle, fights it the other way, and is able to get good wood on that pitch. And we tighten this game up a little bit. We do get it close, 9-7, but we end up losing that one. Teoscar Hernandez coming in and facing the New York Mets now. Is again a lot of moments and a lot of exciting games here in June, and Hernandez is going to go up the middle. 1 run's going to come across to score. The second one following, and that throw is offline. It is a tie ball game here in the 8th inning as Bill Bickford gives up a big base hit to Teoscar Hernandez. This is why we got Teoscar. The former Met, actually, I believe, was on the Mets before he came to us, and he helps get some revenge on his former team. It's going to bring in Brooks Raley, the left-handed batter, 3.20 ERA on the season. And against Paul Goldschmidt, he's going to get him to pop up. So we remain tied in the bottom of the 8th inning as we move on to the 9th, coming right up. For the Mets, Brett Beatty able to put that one away. It's going to be Clifford to lead things off. Andres Chaparro is going to double to keep this inning going. He's a Rookie of the Year favorite, I believe a Rule 5 pick for the Mets last season. As Trent Grisham gets that ball back into the infield, it is 6-6. Again, a runner on second base. Ronnie Mauricio, can I help you, sir? Nope, just looking as he goes through and looks. Oh, excuse me, microphone. Hello. Well, looks at that one. Again, I'm a mess today. Nolan Jones going to rip this one to lead off the inning. This is going to go over the head of the right fielder. Jones will be standing up at second base with a double. 16th of the season for Nolan, as he's really having a solid season. Projected by everyone to be our best player, and he has been that and more. Yanquiel is going to strike out on that cutter as Brooks Raley gets him to chase outside the box. Brings up Ezequiel Tovar after runner gets on first base. Tovar is going to get this one past the diving shortstop. Coming around to try to score is Nolan Jones. Throw is in. Throw is late. Rockies walk off the New York Mets, a score of 7-6. Ezequiel Tovar plays the hero as the Rockies pick up a big win against the Mets. Tovar takes that curveball hanging and puts it into the outfield just on the diving trying to dive was Lindor, one of my favorites. And that is going to do it for that game. Against the Mets, here we go. We're going to get the third game of this matchup. It's going to be the Rockies and Mets. Two teams not having a great season. Well, the Rockies obviously taking 2 against the Mets. And New York will go out there trying to salvage some of this season. Or this series, excuse me. As they are trying to take game number 3 after the Rockies took the first 2, both 2 close ones. Coors heavy. Seems like we've seen him so much. His numbers are not looking great. 6.57 ERA. We might be done with the Sixto Sanchez experiment pretty soon here. Ezequiel Tovar ranges over, but the speed of Brandon Nimmo not enough to get the out there as he was flying down this line. Nimmo, a guy who routinely sprints to first base after walks, is going to get there. And next batter, however, Clifford is going to be left stranded at the plate, and Sixto strikes him out looking. 2 hits for the Mets in that inning, and Sixto gets out unscathed run-wise, and it's going to bring up Sean Manaea. This is definitely what Sean Manaea looks like. 4-7 record, as Dale Amador wastes no time, jumps on that fastball, and sends it 415, dead central. Dale Amador starting things off with a round tripper. That one ends up going 100 miles off the bat. 421 exit velo for Dale. He is really starting to settle in as an everyday big leaguer. We have high hopes for what he can do for the rest of the year and the years moving forward. Chris Bryant getting the start today is going to lace that one in the gap. Runner on first base is going to come around to score. That's Tovar. It's 2-0 Rockies before you can even blink, as Colorado gets a pair of big base hits, drive-in runs, double for Bryant, just his second of the season. And puts that one right in the gap. Chris not getting too much playing time nowadays. Kevin Smith swings through that fastball. That will end the inning. And Bryant not getting too much playing time. After this season, just 2 more years of that big contract, I'm interested to see what we can do if we're going to try to get out of it early. But it's definitely going to cost a pretty penny. As Tovar able to start the double play there, 6-4-3 style. We have a lot of depth at third base and the outfield, so do we really need Chris Bryant? We can't really trade him because of his contract being the way it is, unless you want to put together not just 1 but 2 top prospects to get him. I think that's what the price is going to be, to try to take for someone to take Chris Bryant. We did make a move like that, moving Omar Cannon and Kyle Freeland to the White Sox, but I don't think anyone's going to bite on Bryant. Nimmo's going to bite on this sinker, though, and take it to the moon, all the way out of here. Coors Field cannot contain that one. I don't think any field could contain that one. 412 off the bat, down the line. This one, is this quite second deck? Let's see. It just missed second deck territory. Tovar now here in the bottom of the third. Manaea working hard, and he's going to hit Tovar right up in the elbow. Is this because of his heroics against the Mets the last couple of nights? I don't know. Nothing's going to come of it, though, but Ryan Clifford's going to get revenge, I guess, or keep the pounding on the Rockies, as this one is going to get over the fence, as Clifford, one of the main pieces, him and Drew Gilbert, coming over from the Justin Verlander trade. Gilbert has since been moved to San Francisco for Kyle Harrison. So taking 2 top outfielders, picking which one they wanted, and then supplementing the other one for a top pitching prospect in the game. Working out decently fine for the Mets, at least in that at-bat. Nimmo back up here, and he is going to ground out into a double play, or that's what Tovar had in mind at least. Almost overthrew Goldschmidt there, and that's going to end the inning. However, Clifford does get the Mets on the board. Bottom 5 now, Trent Grisham is going to enter Nimmo territory. Basically same thing, this time off the foul pole. Ring, 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 ring-a-ding-ding-ding-ding, as they would say. Shout out Dr. Dre. 410 off the bat. This one hooking, and plenty enough to stay fair. That one right off the grates of the foul pole. And Manaea's day will be done after that big fly, as Alvarez and the manager are out to talk to him and take the ball from the lefty from Indiana. Let's bring up Jose Butto, a starter who's in the bullpen, a ERA over 4.5 and 69 innings pitched. Nice. Both sides hitting decent against him. Paul Goldschmidt 0 for 2. Not for much longer. This circle change left in a spot you don't want to leave. Your circle changes. Another double for Paulie Two Bags, as he is so graciously called around the Colorado dugout. And that will put a runner in scoring position to start the inning. Chris Bryant already doubled in a run. Is not going to double in a run here as Lindor, player hating on my watch. Francisco Lindor flashing the leather. And again, big Lindor fan. I thought Cleveland was silly to get rid of him. I still do. But the Mets got themselves a good one. And one of the best fielders in the game, regardless of position, just so happens to play one of the most important ones. Drew Romo, center field, hit well, but contained as up against the wall as the center fielder. That is Jorge Mateo. And look at him. Catches it right at the base of the wall while going into it. That's a tough play to make. Justin Lawrence is now in the game, and Colin Houck is very happy about it. I actually believe it's Hawk. I think he does it Hawk, not like Tanner Houck. But so Colin Hawk is going to go into right field opposite way. His second home run of the day, and the Justin Lawrence roller coaster continues. He's been a bit better since getting out of the closer role, but still, obviously not doing too hot. Trent Grisham, he's up now, 2-2 count, and new pitcher, same result, 12-6. You don't want to leave that one hanging. Trent Grisham really starting to light it up after having a pretty poor start to his Rockies career. Is battling back and has 2 long balls in this one. His 6th on the season. First one a little bit farther by a foot. And Trent Grisham is a monster. Give way to Paul Goldschmidt with runners on. This one skied to right field, but plenty of room for the right fielder to make it. And I believe that is Clifford out there. But Grisham does tie this game right back up at 4. 8 hits to 9 hits. As now we're down in the bottom of the 9th inning. He's going to take a walk-off to win it now. Adele Amador isn't going to get it here as he's going to chop it right into the dirt to the second baseman. They'll turn to extras here in Colorado as these two teams have had exciting games all series long. Jorge Mateo goes chasing on the high cheese as we go to the bottom of the 10th inning, trying to walk it off yet again. Jameson fired up. Again, the Rule 5 draft pick having a phenomenal season wearing the pinstripes of Colorado here in the Rockies. And just pumped it right by him. Tovar trying to play hero again. Won't do it here, but does move the runner up. So now the infield is going to have to be in with runner on third and 1 gone. Next batter could end it. Paul Goldschmidt trying to be the one that does. He's going to walk. So this, unfortunately, actually sets up a double play. Chris Bryant trying to stay out of it. He just can't. That curveball rolled over to short, to second, to first, and the game continues as the Mets stay alive. An unfortunate walk by Paul Goldschmidt. Joe Rock in there now in this one. Nimmo has been killing us all day with Jorge Mateo out at second base. It doesn't matter. Bretton Doyle, arm strength at 120. This guy has a cannon out there. Mateo can fly. This one's slow roller. Doyle using all of that energy, all that momentum to throw an absolute frozen rope and keep the Rockies in this one. Alvarez is going to strike out. With 2 outs, the Rockies are looking in a good spot. Joe Rock again painting this fastball on the inside part of the plate. Rung him up. Just clipped it. Ryan Clifford looking for another big hit, and he will deliver. Veen takes a tough angle to it, and that's going to allow the run to score. So Ryan Clifford brings in Brandon Nimmo, the 2 guys who have been killing us all game, as they're single-handedly going to put this game out in head for the Mets. The Mets are fired up about it. Again, it's not too hardly hit. Both of those balls weren't. This one hardly hit. Luis Angel Acuna. As there's more Acunas, they're just making more, and they're saying could be every bit as talented as his brother, which is scary because his brother is at minimum a top 5 player in the league. The rough inning continues as Andres Chaparro is going to probably put this one to bed for the Mets as Joe Rock is getting just that. Joe rocked out of the bullpen here in June. Top of the 11th inning. We're still here. Mauricio finally is going to end the suffering, swinging over the top of a changeup. And Rock, pissed off, as you can tell, not happy with his performance. And not only do we have to come back 3 runs, we have to come back 3 runs against one of the best closers in the game. Edwin Diaz has only blown 2 saves, and with 2 outs, Zach Veen is going to get a slow roller to second base. This one fired in the stands, and that will score a run, an unearned run, but a run nonetheless. Now all of a sudden you got a runner on a scoring position, and you're only down by 2. Brenton Doyle, unfortunately, is the guy that you have at the plate, probably our worst hitter, and no one really to bat for him. He wanted to give the guys rest. I believe Nolan who wanted to rest today. So that's going to do it. Mets end up winning. They don't get swept by us. They avoid a walk-off for the second straight night, and I'm sure they are happy about that. We, unfortunately, not so happy about that. Lose this one 7-5, 23 hits combined. Lopez moves up to 1-1. Joe Rock down to 2-1 record-wise. Let's take a look at the box scores. A couple home runs hit. Lindor 0 but Nimmo 4 for 5. Clifford 2 for 5. Double by both of them. A home run by both of them. RBIs by both of them. And the bullpen didn't really get touched up a bit. Top of the order did good. Almost everyone had a hit, and the first 4 batters had multiple hits. Sixto went fine, 5, and gave up 3, but Joe Rock really let us down in this one. Now we're going up to the north of the border into Canada. Oh, Canada will play the Blue Jays today in a rematch of last year where we faced Alek Manoah at home. Now we're going to face him on the road. The Rockies getting ready for this one against Manoah. He is still not having figured it out. Had a tremendous, 2019, 2020, 2021, whatever year that was. And it's just been awful ever since. It's weird. I love Manoah. I thought he was great, but he has not shown it. Grisham gets on to lead the game, and Amador singles to get the first base hit of the game for the Rockies. So 2 on to begin things before everyone gets to their seats. We already have 2 on. And with 2 out, Yanquiel Fernandez is going to go to left field. He loves hitting internationally. I think he had a big game in Japan. I remember he had, 2 home runs in Korea to start things off. And now in Canada is going opposite field. And it's 3-0 Rocks. Again, before people can even find their seats today. Teoscar Hernandez coming back home, and he is going to swing at a pitch in the other batter's box, and unfortunately cannot hold up. And that's going to do it for this inning. Yanquiel Fernandez making his mark, making his presence felt early. 3 runs on 2 hits. Starting for the Rockies, a former Blue Jay, Marcus Stroman, has not had that bounce-back season we were hoping from him, that he was hoping from himself, as he gives up a sharp base hit by Manuel Margot up the middle. Just has not been that Marcus Stroman we thought we were getting, and now it's going to result in potentially a run. Grisham comes up firing, but Margot is going to be in there as a throw-off line. 3-1 as Vladdy Jr. gets the scoring started for the Blue Jays. Just takes this one the other way. The splitter, not trying to do too much with it. Wilmer Flores signing with the Blue Jays to be there. DH/first baseman. He's going to look at strike number 3. Alejandro Kirk, next pitch. Going to rope it to Nolan Jones on the seat of his pants, making a big play. Look at Nolan go. You've watched Colorado baseball for the last 10 plus years. You're used to, now 13 plus years, you're used to good defense from a Nolan at third base. Fernandez keeps the good times rolling, ropes that one into right field. Coming in to score is Amador, and it's 4-1 as Yanquiel continues to be a menace out of the States. A menace in the States. He's just a menace. He hits everywhere, but especially out of the country for whatever reason. Teoscar Hernandez swinging strike 3 for the second time today. So his Blue Jays homecoming is not going as smooth as Stroman's is. Stroman with runners on the corner, one with Flores trying to break this one open. He's going to look at strike number 1 on the slurve. Going to go back to it, and he's going to hit it very sharply, but unfortunately kept it in the infield, and unfortunately will roll into a inning-ending double play. Prevents the run from scoring. Stroman getting back to those ground ball ways, even though that ball was hit on a line. Amador getting well accustomed to second base is able to start the double play to end the inning. Back in the bottom of the 4th, and Barger is going to strike out swinging. Romo able to block it in the dirt as runners in the corners again for Stroman. And the key to this game, and really the name of this game, was you had runners on the corners, a good amount of traffic, but for the most part, he kept it at bay. Does give up that base hit to Harry Bader and does allow the second run of the game to score. But he's able to get out of some jams. Slurve right down the middle. Not sure what Michael Garcia was looking for, but he's going to be looking for his glove as he goes back out there to third base. Trent Grisham. This one's high. This one's deep. This one's back there. This one is playing with the wall. This one will be a souvenir. The Trent Grisham episode, as he is on fire. Another home run. Third that we've seen today, and he is really increasing his value, and he will chase his second pitcher of the day out of the game, as Manoah now will give it up after giving up 5 runs and give way to Bowden Francis, one of their top pitching prospects, has been getting shelled in 27 games out of the bullpen. Stroman's going to let Barger get him this time, as Alejandro Kirk, even though he is slower than your grandma in a cement shoe, will score from second base, and I think that's going to be it for Stroman, and it will be. Coming out is Marcus. 3 runs, given up 5 2/3 inning, is responsible for on second base, but overall a pretty solid showing, and those are games that we thought we were going to get from him this year. Justin Lawrence, you see the ERA has gone down since going out of the closer spot. We'll get Bader to swing at a funky slider, and Barger does give the Blue Jays 1 run closer. Teoscar this time, not fooled by this one, is going to send all of this one deep into left center field. And people are used to coming to a Blue Jays home game and watching Teoscar Hernandez home run. And Teoscar Hernandez is used to hitting bombs in this ballpark, and he does so right here. The former Jay, now Rocky, gets revenge on his former team. Grisham, sinker inside. He is bullshit about it, but that was a strike. Teoscar does increase the lead. Grisham wanted to increase it even more. But 6-3 as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Matt Moore on the bump now. Gavin Biggio. Ground ball to Paul Goldschmidt. Tovar gets the first out. Not in time to get the second, but there are 2 outs. Runners on the corner yet again. Nick Senzel comes in. Dre Jameson comes in. They were trying to play the lefty-righty matchup, and Rockies play the righty-righty matchup right back. So some good managerial play there, as Jameson trying to go for a 4-out save. He gets the first out of that, and got the other 2 of the other 3 remaining, and finally Manny Margot dribble over to Amador, and that will be a win for your Colorado Rockies. Woot woot, hands in the air, a win for the Colorado Rockies as we take Canada and make them our bitch, for lack of a better term. Manoah drops to 2-8. Jameson gets his 7th save. Rockies pick up the first game of the series. A lot of hits, as we've seen. Offense in baseball is just high. We get 13 hits, they get 12, and we got the ones that mattered the most. Youngkeel Fernandez 2 for 5 with a home run, a couple RBI. Amador had a 3-hit day. Goldschmidt a 3-hit day. Romo multiple hits, and a couple home runs that we saw. For the Blue Jays, they had some guys do good here and or there. Bowden Francis wasn't terrible, and Zach Pop and Chafin couldn't get hit. Now another round of scouting, and we're looking at the consensus number 1 prospect in the draft. Our number 1 on our board, it is Marco Garcia, a left-handed thrower. Spent a lot of time at Kansas State, where he is using that COVID year to get the extra year eligibility. 23 years old, a lefty thrower. We think he projects really good. He can strike out some guys. The velocity is really, really good. But everything else is in a very solid spot for right now, and going to be a very solid spot for the future. We think that he can be a player immediately. I think at worst he's going to be at camp his first offseason, but I doubt we get him just because he is the number 1 prospect on MLB's board and looks like the top pitcher guy. Fastball, cutter, slider, changeup. The fastball was his best pitch. The changeup being added on later. The cutter, slider. All 4 of those pitches work off each other well. The fastball, you can throw the cutter and the slider off of it. You can throw the slider off the cutter. The changeup off the fastball. There and there. We really like what we see by Marco Garcia, but who wouldn't? He's the number 1 prospect in the game. Willie Carrasco, a more realistic option at third base. A lot of power, especially against lefties. The bat, I think, is going to be solid. The defense looks really, really, really good. 21 years old. Can play first base, can play second base as well. He's number 4 on MLB's board, 6 on our board. He's definitely in play for pick number 7. William Kim, a guy that has a lot of, really everyone thinks he's going to be a fantastic Gold Glove caliber fielder out there in center field. Speed for days, hailing from South Korea. The bat looks okay as a lefty, like nothing. I don't think he's going to hit 25 home runs, but he's not going to hit 5 either. I don't think he's going to bat 320, but I don't think he's going to bat under 240. So he's just a very projectable bat that's going to be a middle of the or kind of lower from that 6 to that 8 spot, or maybe even that 2nd spot. But he's going to give you phenomenal defense center field, something that we're looking for as well. Because Brenton Doyle, I love him, but is he the answer? He might not be the answer. Richard Lynn, another guy who he might fall to us at our 2nd pick. And I think the player's okay, but not one I think I'm comfortable drafting high enough where he's going. A guy whose bat is going to be okay at best. His fielding is good, but his arm isn't fantastic, so there are questions of whether he can stick at shortstop or if he has to move over to second base. His speed and range is really, really good. His reaction time, we've clocked it as a high schooler, is above average. But everything, just nothing else seems like it's going to play. So that's our only thing with Richard Lynn. Ramses Feldman, who we think could be the number 1 pick in the draft as well. Number 2 on MLB's board, right behind Garcia. But a guy who is a high contact bat from Connecticut, went to UConn, and an incredible fielder out there in center field. Again, his arm isn't fantastic. He has played second base in the past, and that's a big reason for that arm, but he was so rangy that they decided to put him in the outfield, and he's played all 3 outfield positions well. Just will that arm be good enough for center field? Everything else looks great. If you're going to get high contact from a guy, not going to strike out a bunch, walk a decent amount, not going to hit too much power at just 5'7", 151. Definitely a lot to go, but a guy who has been extremely great for a Huskies team that is very good, and a guy who could go number 1 to Chicago. To wrap things up today, let's look at the standings. The Phillies and the Braves, again, battling out for the East. The Cubs and the Brewers and the Reds all tighten up there in the Central. And then the Dodgers smoking everybody out West. Wild card would be Brewers, Diamondbacks, Padres, with the Braves, Reds, and Giants looking to get spots as well. Orioles, Red Sox, Blue Jays, Rays, really tight race in the AL East. Twins trying to pull away, and the Rangers pulling away in the West. The Astros' reign of dominance might be trailing off. That is going to do it here for this June rendition of Rockies Baseball. July coming up pretty soon. We'll see you then. Go Rocks.